When delving into the realm of iconic and culturally impactful game consoles, few hold a candle to the Sega Genesis, the 16-bit marvel which took America by storm. The Megadrive, as it's known as in more cultured regions, served as the catalyst for one of the most memorable console wars of all time, and in recent years the resurgence and widespread popularity of the Sega Megadrive Mini serves as a poignant testament to its enduring legacy. To put into perspective how successful this platform was in regions as diverse as Europe, South America and Australia, the Sega Megadrive emerged triumphant, outselling its formidable rival, the Super Nintendo. Like the British Empire before it, the Sega conquest spanned multiple continents, with the Megadrive establishing its dominance over various territories. Remarkably, even in North America, where the Super Nintendo Entertainment System reigned supreme, the Megadrive held its ground and presented a formidable challenge to the Super Nintendo. However, amidst these triumphs, a critical setback in a pivotal market cast a shadow over the Megadrive's ambitions to claim the title of the world's best-selling console of its generation, and this was its failure to win the war on its home soil of Japan, arguably the epicenter for console gaming during that era. So with that said, join me today as we embark on a journey to unravel the contributing factors that precipitated such a consumer behaviour, delving into the intricate narrative of why the Sega Megadrive encountered stumbling blocks in its home market and failed to gain the same cultural recognition at home than it received elsewhere. I am Late Decade, and this is why the Sega Megadrive failed in Japan. It's the 29th of October 1998, a date etched in gaming history as the day the Sega Megadrive made its debut in Japan. This cutting-edge console hinged on technology closely linked to the System 16 arcade board, anchored by the formidable Motorola 68000 processor. As the curtains rose on its launch, the Megadrive emerged as the most technically advanced gaming console globally, boasting unparalleled power and sophistication. It represented a quantum leap beyond Sega's previous 8-bit consoles, which has struggled to capture a substantial market share in Japan. At that pivotal juncture, the reigning champions of the Japanese gaming market were undeniably Nintendo, with their ubiquitous Famicom platform, a sister later rebranded as the NES across most parts of the globe. Nintendo's dominance, particularly in North America, was a formidable force that stood as a significant challenge for Sega. Despite the Megadrive's undeniable allure and technological prowess, it failed to unseat Nintendo from its throne in Japan. The question that looms largely, though, is why? What factors conspire to thwart Sega's aspirations on its home turf? Well, examining the landscape, several factors emerge, each contributing to the Megadrive's inability to secure a substantial foothold in the land of the rising sun. So, let's delve into these intricacies and unravel the story of why Sega faced impediments in achieving parallel success on Japanese soil. One pivotal factor worth mentioning is the very launch of the Megadrive in the country. The maiden voyage of this console at home unfolded with distinctive nuances compared to its introduction in other parts of the world. As the platform was sequentially launched in different countries, a growing library of games naturally accompanied it. So throughout the Megadrive's life cycle, the repertoire expanded to encompass over 900 games. However, the Japanese launch presented a different scenario with a relatively limited initial game library, setting the stage for a different trajectory in, at the time, the second richest country in the world. On its inaugural day, the platform faced an unanticipated setback, launching with no more than a meager 2 games, Space Harrier 2 and Super Thunderblade, with only Altered Beast and Osamasakun joining the lineup in time for the system's first Christmas. As if that wasn't challenging enough, the following 6 months witnessed a scarcity of game releases, with the platform struggling to build an expansive and diverse game library. By the 1st of January 1990, a staggering 15 months after its initial launch, the Megadrive in Japan could only boast 26 different games. The dearth of game titles during this platform's formative months cast cast a shadow over its early trajectory, highlighting a critical lapse in game development support, particularly from third-party developers. This lack of choice was exacerbated by the fact that Nintendo, Sega's formidable competitor, was actively engaging in aggressive exclusivity deals with developers, locking them into contractual agreements that limited their ability to create games for the Megadrive. The giants of Japanese game development, including Capcom, Konami, Square, and Enix, were firmly entrenched in relationships with Nintendo, leaving Sega struggling to secure the necessary support from these influential entities. Nintendo's strategic maneuvers in the form of exclusive deals were instrumental in impeding the Mega Drive's access to high-profile game titles. While Konami and Capcom eventually joined the Mega Drive game development fold, their arrival was akin to closing the barn door after the horse had bolted. By the time these renowned developers started churning out Mega Drive games, Japanese consumers had already pledged their allegiance to the Super Nintendo, rendering Sega's efforts somewhat belated in winning over the hearts and minds of the gaming populace. A striking example of the challenges faced by Sega in securing game titles lay in the contractual intricacies negotiated by Nintendo with companies like Konami and Capcom. Under these agreements, franchises like Street Fighter II and Turtles in Time were bound by exclusivity to Nintendo for the first critical 12 months of their console releases. This meant that when the embargo lifted on Street Fighter II and Champions Edition made its debut on the Mega Drive, Nintendo swiftly countered with the release of Street Fighter II Turbo, intensifying the competition and tipping the scales back in their favour. In terms of Square and Enix, neither company would ever publish any titles for the Mega Drive, thus meaning that cultural phenomena in Japan such as Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy would continue to remain exclusive to Nintendo. At the time, fans of the genre who owned Mega Drives would have to settle with Phantasy Star. Although, looking at the sales figures of the system in the country, few people seemed to make that choice. While the 16-bit war between Sega and Nintendo in the West is widely acknowledged and celebrated, who is often forgotten is the third horse in this race. Nintendo may have posed a substantial obstacle to Sega's ambitions, but they were not the sole contenders in the Japanese gaming landscape. Another formidable adversary came in the form of NEC and their PC Engine range of systems. The PC Engine had a head start, entering the Japanese market a full 12 months before the Mega Drive. In many respects, one could argue that the PC Engine initiated the 16-bit wars, setting the stage for intense competition that further complicated Sega's endeavours to establish dominance in the Japanese gaming realm. The Mega Drive found itself caught in a multifaceted struggle, contending not only with Nintendo's formidable presence, but also with the head start and innovation introduced by NEC's PC Engine. Sure, in the form of the turbo graphics it might not have sold very well, but in Japan, the PC Engine was a force to be reckoned with. Despite only having an 8-bit CPU, the platform's 16-bit video color encoder and the 16-bit video display controller equipped the system with 16-bit marketing bragging rights, meaning that if Japanese consumer wanted a console that was more powerful and offered more flashy graphics than the Famicom, they had the option to do so an entire year before the Mega Drive even existed. And to be fair to the Japanese general public, this is precisely what many people opted to do, leading to the Mega Drive always trailing behind in third place in the Japanese console war. The PC Engine offered games featuring larger colour palettes and massive sprites, presenting an enticing alternative to gamers seeking a visually impressive experience. While the PC Engine faced limitations in handling extra background layers compared to the Mega Drive, the graphical similarities between the two platforms were unmistakable, and not different enough for consumers to decide to go for one over the other. Beyond the technological intricacies, one cannot overlook the pivotal role in both culture and marketing in shaping the Mega Drive's destiny, both in Japan and globally. The more we look, the more it becomes increasingly apparent that these elements played key roles in the Mega Drive's lack of Japanese dominance. The success of Japanese role-playing games with their narrative-rich experiences captured the hearts of Japanese gamers. The Mega Drive, while boasting decent technical capabilities, struggled to resonate with this cultural penchant, contributing further to its third-place standing in the domestic console race. Diving deeper into the varied landscape of gaming genres and their impact on their successes or shortcomings of the Sega Megadrive, it becomes evident that the absence of Japanese role-playing games was not the sole factor influencing consumer preferences. A closer examination unveils the significant role that other gaming genres, particularly sports games, played in shaping the Mega Drive's fate elsewhere. Despite potential reservations that audiences may harbour towards gaming giants like EA, it was precisely these companies that played a pivotal role in catapulting the Mega Drive to resounding success in Europe and the Americas. The enduring appeal of sports games, a phenomenon that persists to this day, has driven many individuals to purchase gaming consoles specifically to indulge in their favourite virtual sports experiences. The Mega Drive, boasting a rich array of sports titles, emerged as an enticing choice for Western consumers eager to immerse themselves in classics like Madden, FIFA and PGA Golf. The Mega Drive's association with these popular sports franchises was instrumental in establishing its dominance in Western markets. The abundance of sports titles contributed to the device's widespread popularity, creating a compelling proposition for gamers seeking an immersive sports gaming experience. However, the strategy of centering a console around sports genres, while successful in Western regions, faced cultural barriers when it came to the Japanese market. Sega of America and Europe meticulously tailored marketing campaigns to resonate with Western audiences, reflecting an understanding of the preferences and cultural nuances prevalent in Europe and the Americas. The console's success hinged on its ability to align with the gaming preferences of those regions, making it the go-to choice for sports enthusiasts. However, the stark cultural disparities between the East and the West meant that the same marketing approach might not yield similar appeal in Japan. The very essence of how the Mega Drive was positioned and the composition of its game library, while striking a chord with Western audiences, may not have resonated as effectively with Japanese consumers. Venturing into the realm of user perspectives on gaming forums, an intriguing discussion unfolds around the cultural perceptions and marketing strategies associated with the Sega Mega Drive. One user's assertion that the Mega Drive was tailored for men who like violence, great realism, speed, adrenaline and hard-hitting sports strikes a spirited conversation. Some would advocate that the Mega Drive delivered these elements abundantly, setting it apart from the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which, in many's views, catered to Japanese tastes with its emphasis on primary colours, childish soundtracks and endearing characters. In response to this viewpoint, others suggest it could be refined to encompass that the Mega System was marketed to young boys as the real American men's console. After all, the Mega Drive found success in the United States, flourishing with an abundance of sports and fast action titles, whereas it struggled to gain traction in Japan. In contrast, though, the PC Engine, with its more extensive game library and generally more detailed and colourful graphics, proved to be a formidable competitor that eclipsed the Mega Drive in its home market. While such forum discussions often carry a tongue-in-cheek tone, they hint at an underlying truth. The notion that the Mega Drive was tailored for a specific audience aligns with the distinct marketing strategies employed by Sega. Looking back at this classic Japanese console war, it becomes apparent why the PC Engine and Nintendo products garnered more appeal among Japanese audiences, with factors extending beyond mere chronological precedence. The Sega Mega Drive, despite its technological prowess, faced challenges due to the prevalence of specific genres and art styles that found limited resonance in the Japanese market. Reflecting on the Mega Drive's shortcomings in Japan, in a similar vein, the severe lack of sports games likely contributed to the TurboGrafx 16's struggles in the Western market. This cultural specificity in gaming preferences underscores how certain consoles are inherently more tailored to particular markets, shaping consumer choices and ultimately influencing the success or failure of a gaming system. This cultural phenomenon is not unique to the Mega Drive. It echoes the historical rivalry between the Sega Saturn and the Nintendo 64 in Japan. The two systems performed in polar opposite positions compared to their Western reception, exemplifying how consumer behaviour is intricately tied to cultural inclinations. Reflecting on these cultural shifts offers a fascinating glimpse into the dynamic relationships between gaming platforms and the diverse preferences of audiences worldwide. As we explore the multifaceted reasons behind the Mega Drive's challenges in Japan, it prompts a thought-provoking discussion. So with that said, I invite you all to share your insights in the comment section. Why do you believe the Mega Drive was less attractive to a Japanese audience? Subscribe, and then why not check out some of my other videos now. Bye!